Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Although it's spring here in New Zealand, I thought I would do a bit of an autumnal recipe for my Northern Hemisphere viewers, and I thought I'd start with the German apple pudding. This is from my recipe ebook, which I'll link down below. It's $5 and there's, I think, 31 recipes. My favorite go-to recipes are cakes, puddings, cookies, pancakes, waffles, all that kind of thing. Each recipe has the ingredients listed in grams and milliliters, as well as tablespoons and cups, whichever one you are more comfortable using. So for the German apple pudding, you will need 3 eggs, a cup of sugar, a cup of flour, 75 grams of butter, 60 milliliters of milk, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And usually I use tinned fruit, and I would use 2 tins of apples, or I've done it with peaches and pears as well. But today I'm using fresh apples, and I have 4 apples peeled and sliced here. So to begin with, we're going to cream the butter and sugar together. And I'm going to use my hand mixer to do that. Next I'm going to add the eggs one by one, beating well after each addition. Now the recipe says to mix your dry ingredients together and then add them alternating with the milk, but I'm too lazy for that, so I'm just going to dump everything together. You can just mix the cinnamon in at this stage, or you can reserve that to sprinkle over the pudding before going into the oven. I think I will probably do the sprinkling thing. I usually forget and just add it in, but either way is fine. Okay, now that that's mixed up, I'm going to turn it into this baking dish, which I've greased with a little bit of melted butter. It's a fairly runny batter. It's not super thick. Okay, it doesn't show much better, like it's not very thick, but it will rise up around your fruit. So you just want to lay your apples in there. I'm just pressing the fruit into the batter so it kind of squishes up between it. And now I'll go ahead and sprinkle on the cinnamon. This is going to make the house smell amazing. Okay, then I'm going to pop it into the oven, which I've preheated to 180 degrees Celsius, which I think is 375 Fahrenheit, and it will go in there for 45 minutes to an hour. You just want to test that the batter coming up in between the fruit is actually set. You don't want any kind of raw batter. The apples should soften and cook. Using tinned fruit, you don't have to worry about the fruit actually cooking, you just have to worry about the cake bit. But in my case, I kind of want the apples to soften as well, so I'm thinking it's probably going to be in there for about an hour. While the pudding is baking and making the house smell great, you're going to prepare the sauce that gets poured over the hot pudding once it's done. So we're going to start with 180 milliliters of sugar. I'm going to put that into a microwave-proof jug, or you can do it in a saucepan on the stove. 180 milliliters of milk, and 75 grams of butter. So I'm going to pop that into the microwave now, just to melt the sugar and butter together a little bit, and that will sit until the pudding's ready to come out of the oven. Right, my pudding is out of the oven. I checked it at about 35 minutes and it was starting to get a bit brown on top, so I covered it with some foil. But it's been about 45 minutes. And the fruit is soft and the batter is cooked. So now I'm just going to poke holes all over it. There's something to hold this with. mixture that I melted in the microwave, the butter and sugar and milk. Give it a bit of a stir and pour that over. So it's going to soak into all those little holes and go all the way through the pudding. My mouth is actually watering, even though I can't eat this. I have made this recipe with gluten-free flour and it turned out perfectly. So if you can't eat gluten, that's something to try. Okay, now I'm going to let that sit for maybe 20 minutes. Let all of that sauce penetrate and kind of cool a little bit because it's piping hot out of the oven, and then I'm going to serve it with some whipped cream. This is delicious with ice cream as well, vanilla ice cream or toffee ice cream, or eating it cold out of the dish for breakfast if there's any left over is a favorite of mine as well, or used to be when I used to be able to eat it. This smells and looks so good. Be sure to check out the link below to my recipe ebook and let me know if you try this and what you think of it, and let me know if there are any other recipes that you'd like to see me make, and I'll be sure to do that. Thanks for watching, see you next time.